The SMS final rule was just published, which we've been pushing for a really, really long time. We think SMS is pretty fundamental to, how to actually make a measurable difference in safety. We don't like to talk about it in the industry very much, but we don't have a perfect record. We've had over 15 fatalities this year to date so far. We do continue to have accidents in business aviation. Some of them have been illegal charter. But we had one, involving a maintenance flight this year, and safety is nebulous. It's really hard to just say, okay, this is the one thing that's going to make a difference. This is the one thing that will change. But we do know that just culture and culture are a big, big component of it in identifying the problems. So we're very happy to see SMS as mandated. We're hoping, we have an SMS tool, but we also encourage any other tools that are out there to be used. And we think it's great. I hope this brings a real cultural shift in the industry. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out, because part of this is, it's almost like tattletaling. The expectation is your SMS will also need to highlight flaws in other vendors and operators that you work with. So let's say you have a maintenance issue. You need to call out your repair station and you need to send a report to them, and their inspector may be looking at that. So it's how do we make sure that SMS is a positive reporting culture and doesn't become kind of pointing fingers at everybody else, including the FAA, being open to accepting the finger pointing and saying, okay, how do we actually solve this and fix it? It's an interesting approach for a regulator to be a part of. For that self-reporting, it is going to be tough.
Also, this is the thing I like about the military flying is that if you reported a safety, hey, look, it was a non-punitive, unless it was incredibly stupid, egregious. But it was not. It was designed to be non-punitive. It was. Hey, look, let's just make sure get it fixed. Do it. Now, look, obviously, there's different levels of trust out there in the civilian side of the house. But are you building? Who's a member? Who are the talk about a typical member of the ASCF?
Yeah, so a lot of our members, and reason they come to us is because we're built for small organizations. Again, when we go back to the approach of, if anyone has an accident, it affects all of us. So even our largest partners, like the very large fractional companies, are a part of ACSF, even if they don't use the tools, because they understand that the more we can bring everybody up, like all ships rise with the tide, right? So most of our members, it's a couple of folks, they probably don't have a full-time safety director. It's a director of operations, maybe a couple pilots. But we do things like we administrate the ASAP program so that they have a partner when they're reporting errors to the FAA, and someone kind of backing them up and saying, this is how you should report it. This is how you should structure it. In the meeting together, let's talk about the best way to communicate to the regulator. So in the SMS tools, and we're working on a number of other tools too, we'd like to bring flight data monitoring to the masses to make it inexpensive so that all operators can be a part of it. So our mission is basically to bring every single tool for as low a cost or free as possible to every operator so that we can all continue to raise the bar for safety and avoid having any accidents that affect the entire industry.